Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have another community spotlight, and we're just going to go straight into it, no faffing around. So these are some, frankly, awesome Warglaive conversions from Robert, and straight off, I love this thing. I absolutely love this. It's so clearly chaos, and the use of parts is really nice. It's really well done. There's a good use of... I can't actually work out what parts that is. I think that's maybe some Maulerfiend or Forgefiend shoulders, perhaps? Something like that. It could be Hellbrute. Not entirely sure where that's from, the kit. But the use of the Bloodthirster head, those shoulder pads over the side, already make a massive difference. And replacing one of the weapons with a full-on, like, demonic axe, I really like this. There's also a lovely amount of detail at the back of the model as well. To be honest, something I'm very guilty of is quite often when I'm converting something, I will do a really good job on the front of it, and then I will suddenly remember way too late, like we're talking like primed and halfway through painting, oh, hang on, people will look at the back of this thing as well. I'm very good at focusing on what's directly in front of me, and the bit that I can't see is a kind of out of sight, out of mind thing, and that has not happened here at all, because the placement of stuff on the back of this, I really like. For instance, like if the spikes with the skulls were placed on the front, it would look a bit too busy because of having the Bloodthirster head on there. But because they're on the back, the detail is still there. There's still a clear collection of trophies, but it's not totally overwhelming. It doesn't look like it's completely in your face. It's a really good use of parts, and they've been spread out really nicely. And again, I really wish I could remember where those shoulder pads are from, but the use of the Maulerfiend plasma cannon, I believe, that axe, again, another Bloodthirster head. It's not quite as overt. It's not quite as kind of, there isn't as much on this particular one, but it still works really, really well. There's still a good collection of parts. Little additions, like I'm pretty sure those knife blades as well are just from combat knives that have been placed on the armour that's on the side of the legs. That's ridiculous. Oh, that's really cool. Massive chain axe. Again, the Maulerfiend head, or the Forgefiend head. No, Maulerfiend head if it's got the pointy bit. Just a really good use of parts on these things. Really good use of parts. I think if they've been extended upwards as well, I think that the mid section there between the waist, like the top of the legs and the actual torso itself, I think that is not part of the kit. That looks like it's from something else, maybe a 3D printed thing, maybe. I feel like I think it's giving them like extra height by the look of it. But it works well. Once it's painted up, that'll be nice and unobtrusive. Yeah, I think those shoulder pads must be from the Forge or Maulerfiend kit. Again, and good use of like the back of the model. Not too over the top, enough that work has been done on it, but not massively excessive. It's not too overdone. And I'm always a big fan of using chains on stuff as well. You can do a lot to like metal a model up with a bit of chain. Chains and a few skulls are a nice, easy way to get a good amount of metal on something. There's a good use of some pipe work there as well. That looks like almost like a... I'm not sure where the pipe is from that's coming into the head from the torso, but it adds a lot to it. Just makes the whole thing more, I guess, more believable in a way. Some really, really nice conversions. I really like those. That is really well done. Good placement on like everything that's on them. Nice work. Okay, we're going to take a break from the heresy and have a look at some custom Primaris Black Templars from Tim. And I love these things. They're really nicely done. I can't tell if it's green stuff work that's been used to make the logos on the chest. Whatever it is, works really well. Nice accuracy with using the chains for the weapons. They've been solidly converted, these. That you can clearly tell what these guys are. And I always like seeing like more close combat options on Primaris models as well. It's not just a thing of, Black Templars being a bit keen on like slashing a lad up, but the models themselves are also really quite suited for it due to the stature of them, and to be honest, they just don't have the options for it. Seeing this just makes me wish that they really did, because it's a nice use of parts, it's a good conversion, and it works well with the armour style. I think there's like a mix as well on some of these of like official parts, and I don't know whether it's like 3D printed stuff maybe. There's definitely a bit of bronze stuff going on. I can't remember if you can still get those from Forge World or not, and I mean, that really feels like there's been some changes to the torso as well. I'm assuming it's green stuff work, to be honest, and it's nicely done. The contrast of having not blue power weapons as well. Like, if you're going to have like blue highlights on the armour, sometimes going for a contrast on the power weapons looks quite good. So I like that they've done that. The posing is nice as well on quite a few of these. Some really good purposeful poses. I'd really like to know how you got the emblems on here. There wasn't any detail in the email, but I'm hoping to, when you watch this, let us know in the comments, like, was it purely green stuff work? Did you use like 3D printed torsos? Was there, how much of it was like official third party parts from like Forge World, which aren't third party, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's some really nice work on these. Really nice. The use of like the I think that's like is that one of the old Black Templar shoulder pads that you could get off the Games Workshop site? Are those still available? I'm not sure, but it works really well with that Grey Knight helm. At least I'm assuming that's a Grey Knight helm. It does have the laurel on it, which could mean that it's not. But again, that could well be green stuff work, because that's a consistent theme throughout. If it is, that's some really nice work. Yeah, that is some excellent Black Templar work there. Nice and varied, but very coherent unit, a very coherent group. Still recognisably Primaris, but with a proper like Templar feel to them. The mix of different shoulder pads, and especially the mix of different poses. There's a really nice mix of poses going on. Makes all of them stand out that little bit more. Adds a lot of diversity to the squad as a whole. Yeah, I'd love to see like a parts list for this. That'd be interesting to see, because there's a lot of really nice work that's gone into these. Okay, next up we have a looted Gorkanaut Orky Imperial Knight from Wyatt. And this does have a full name, a full title. And the full title in Ork is More Gargant, Garg Orky, Ug de Gorklar Ug Gork de Snagger Snagger Knob. And you didn't think I'd be able to pronounce that, did you? In Low Gothic, Ancient Titan, terrifying and green with the red claw of Gork, the Lord of Wild Serpents. I like it when you go full on and name units. That has 100% approval from me, even if it was interesting to read out loud. Difficult name aside, I really like this. There's some nice touches. The use of the like the big shooters on either side of the head. The fact that the head has got the tusks. I think it does like the face off. Is it one of the Ork Dreads maybe? Adding that horrendous buzzsaw to the hand and like extending the fingers with the hooks is a nice orky touch. I really like the paint as well. The paint's nice. There's a nice bit of kind of scratched weathering going on. There's some nice touches like the orc face on the fist, and just little bits here and there that just kind of make it stand out. It's a nice conversion, a nice paint job. It works really, really well. Just little additions all over that kind of mark it out as being no longer exactly loyal to the Imperium. And we're sticking with the theme of knights, because we have a bunch of converted renegade knights from Gavin, and some of these are like ridiculous. What words work to properly get over the fact that this Knight of Khorne has 3 chainswords on one arm? What do you say to really convey how ridiculously like metal and excessive that is? Good use of skulls on the armour plates. It works really well for Khorne. Again, a good use of a bloodthirster head to denote a change of allegiance. There looks to be some interesting stuff going on the carapace as well, where the cockpit is. You know what? I will say I really like the fact that those chainswords have been melded into the plasma cannons off a Forge Fiend. That's a nice touch. It adds a lot. It makes it a lot more. Makes it flow better. It is, of course, so excessive having 3 chainswords, but managing to make it look like they haven't just been rammed on is genuinely an achievement, in my opinion. In fact, I've just realised that the Bloodthirster head isn't just the head; it's also the top of the torso sticking out as well. That's a nice touch. That kind of lends it an organic feel. And in fact, I think I can see, yeah, there's wings on the back of that as well. Good grief! So those are the wings from I believe it's the Morghast kit actually, because I have a Morghast kit literally on the desk next to me. It looks like there might be something similar to that. Maybe not exactly that kit, but. Yeah, that's crazy. That's so good. I really like that. God. Okay. Gross. It's yeah. Glotkin combined with a Imperial Knight it's a popular conversion for making a Nurgle Knight, and it's not exactly difficult to see why, is it? It works very, very well because the Glotkin is absolutely gross. A bit of expanding foam, or if you're feeling flush, loads of green stuff, can make the armor plates fit nicely like they are here. What is that gun for? Oh, that's another more Forge Fiend option, isn't it? The big old rotary cannon there. That's disgusting. It's very well done, and it's very well done, which means that's what makes it disgusting. It's just gross. I like this particular conversion. I've seen a few of these, and every time I see it, I'm just like, I applaud you for making something that makes me physically kind of shrink a little bit and be like, ugh. It's a genuine achievement. Also got a Knight Porphyrion, which I love this model. It's so mad. It's one of those models where one day I will own one of these, and it'll be Slaaneshed like you wouldn't even believe. Not like that, but there's just something about the Porphyrion that is so kind of imposing, and it's just I know Imperial Knights are like mini Titans. The Porphyrion is properly like a mini Titan. It's a really nice solid gold as well. That's a really nice coating of gold. And picking out all the individual rivets, way more patience than I have. I'm way lazy when it comes to detail like that. In fact, actually, you can see on the legs, like different rivets and screws and stuff have been properly picked out in gold to contrast against the gunmetal and the silver. There's a lot of love and attention has been put into this, and it shows. We also have a Slaanesh Knight, which I love. It's the weird, like, tentacly, wormy bits that are all over this thing are gross. I mean, well done, but ugh. I do like the use of the demons from the different gods around the base. It does a lot to kind of bring the model to life as a whole. And there's a nice use of different parts there. I always think Slaanesh is the most difficult thing to kind of to impose on a knight. There isn't like that thing of, with Khorne you can cover it in skulls and paint it red, or you can give it an even bigger weapon. With Nurgle, the more gross it is, like the easier it gets. Like there's a good solid number of options where you can just mix a couple of kits, and with a bit of work, of course, you can make something that is recognisably Nurgle straight off the bat. Slaanesh is a little bit more difficult. I'd say the same thing for Tzeentch. They're both a bit trickier to really get across, and I really like what's been done here. There's a nice continuation of themes, like using the tendrils of the Mauler Fiend. There's a whole thing with whips for Slaanesh, especially Slaaneshi demons, and it ties it together with that. The gross kind of wormy tendril things. I'd love to know how you made those. I'm assuming it's green stuff, but it's whether you used a mold maker or whether you did that all kind of like by hand. I'd be interested to know which it was. And also the weapon loadout. I really like how different the weapon loadout is. I mean, I was going to say I can't really tell what the weapons are on this thing, but I'm not one to make that kind of comment because one of my Redemptors currently has a Skaven lightning cannon strapped to the carapace, and let's face it, what the hell is that supposed to be? So, yeah, I like that. That's a good use of colour, it's a good use of parts, it fits the theme really nicely. Finally, we have a Tzeentch Knight, and I'm really impressed with this. Again, good use of parts on this one. And using the screamers down the bottom on the base and actually having them hovering, that's a really nice touch. That's really nice. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's some solid work. So I think that's the changer of ways, the head at the top there. I think is that the staff from it as well. I can't remember how big that model is. I know it's big. I didn't think it was quite Imperial Knight big, but I could be wrong. I've never seen one in the flesh. But the use of the Helldrake head over the cannon, the staff. I mean, that's a solid Tzeentch Knight. You just know what that is. That's very well done. And again, the use of the demons around the base, especially those, I think they're screamers, aren't they? That are actually like floating between the legs. That's very nicely done. Very nicely done. And the wings. I've just noticed there's wings on the back as well. I was about to move on, but I like that a lot. I like that. That is a solid conversion. Very well done. And finally, we have some Voidsmen from Lars, which I really like these guys. So these are built from parts from Imperial Guard, Vansar, and Neophyte hybrid kits. And he also used some bits from the Space Marine range, like shotgun and purity seals and stuff. He said he wanted a more natural, saturated look and worked with a limited palette and a few little colour highlights. Painting was really joyful, but honestly, their dark suits was a hard one for me. I feel your pain. I cannot paint dark. I think I can be really pleased with the result. Absolutely, yeah. These are some really nice conversions, really nicely painted, really good muted palette. Really makes the actual, like, the smoothness of these conversions stand out a lot. Like, this is a solid theme for an army. I really like this. This fulfills that criteria of, like a really, really exceptional conversion / kit bash where you look at that and that's how they come. That is the kit. That is how these things are supposed to look. It's really nicely done. The painting is really good. It brings it all together so well. I actually think the muted colour scheme really brings them out more than I think like a bright, flashy colour scheme would. It looks very grounded, very gritty. And I really do like the use of the Vansar helmet. It adds something so, like, it almost seems like more modern sci-fi in a way, and yet the kind of overall gear of them is still properly traditional 40k. It's a really good mix of styles. Absolutely solid work from Lars. Well done. Okay, so that is this week's Community Spotlight. As always, if you wish to submit pictures of what you've done, what you've created, whether it be things for Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Kill Team, any of the systems, anything, War Machine, Warhammer Hordes, X-Wing, whatever it is, you can send pictures of that to kiriothcommunity@gmail.com. There will be a thing in the description just so you can copy and paste that email address in. I will get to your submission eventually. There are a lot of entries. There's a lot of stuff to get through, and we are getting through it. If you send me something, it will appear in a video at some point. I cannot promise exactly when, but it will appear. Anything you send me will eventually end up on the channel. So submit the stuff you want to submit, show off the work you've been doing, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed some really, really solid conversions and some really solid painting this week as well. Really nicely done, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you for the next one. Click all the things if you want. You don't have to. It's up to you. And yeah, I'll see you for the next one. Toodaloo.